Hey YouTube, this is Ted and you're watching TedTv. Do you like what you see? The America that we once knew is gone, is finished. I mean, we're talking about now a fascist police state. We don't have free enterprise in this country. There's no such thing as free enterprise. We have fascism. We have huge government, big government. And on the other side, we're married to an economic system, the marriage of big business, huge corporations, and big government. And the middle class is just being obliterated. I mean, we don't have free enterprise. We don't have much of mom and pop businesses, stores. You know, the competition isn't there anymore because we have huge corporations and the government's controlling everything. And, you know, we have Wall Street, which is a bunch of crooks, a bunch of whores, a den of thieves. Wall Street is mainly a billionaires' Jewish club that are there to fleece you out of your money. They're there to, what they call, to shear the sheep. And they've done it for probably over 100 years now. I mean, middle-class America puts their money into stocks. They have you got the Federal Reserve. That's a crooked international banking cartel. It has nothing to do with the U.S. federal government. But this cartel was formed in 1913 with the help of the banking moguls, the Rothschilds and all them. They formed it in 1913 and to control our money supply. We have no control over what money's printed, and they control our interest rates so that, you know, we can't. This is their theory on Wall Street. They come on the news media, on these business channels, and they say, oh yeah, you really should put your money into stocks because where else are you going to get a good return? I mean, we've got the banks. They've lowered the interest rate to almost pretty much zero. So you put your money in an account. What interest do you get? You get what? Close to zero. You get maybe 1/10 of 1% or 1/5 of 1%, or maybe if you're 1/4 of 1% average. So, you know, the American middle class is saying, man, I'm not getting any return on my money. The interest rates are zero. They're held down. Yeah, there's nowhere else to put my money except in stocks. At least I can, you know, maybe get 8, 9%, maybe 10% a year, or maybe even 20% a year. So they sucker all the people in, you know. And then the billionaire traders on Wall Street, they do it every time. They pump up the market, and then they crash it. And, I mean, if they want to crash it, they'll crash it. They can pick the day when they're going to crash it. It doesn't matter. If they want it to go up, it'll go up and up and up until they want it to stop going up. And then when they want to crash it, they'll crash it. All they got to do is the big boys come in, billionaire traders. Oh, they'll say, oh yeah, if they want to crash the market that day, they'll buy thousands of contracts, S&P 500, and sell it short. And the market will crash. But if they want it to soar, like it's doing now, it's been soaring for the past 4 years. I mean, it's at an all-time bubble high. All they got to do, they just keep buying it, go long on these S&P contracts, Dow contracts, thousands of contracts. They can leverage the market up, go as high as they want it to go, and then when they want to crash it. I mean, that's what I mean. We have no free enterprise anywhere in America. None. There's no such thing as free enterprise. Everything is controlled by the Illuminati. It's controlled, manipulated, and we have the average middle-class guy is just like a little minnow swimming in a sea of sharks. And the sharks are going to come in and devour the little guy. And they do it every time. They crash the market, they wipe him out, you know, and this is their plan, is to wipe out America's middle class. Just wipe it out, impoverish it. So we'll have dirt poor people and super rich people. It's one of their goals. And they have more sinister goals. That's just financial goals, but there's the real sinister goals is the population agenda, the depopulation of the earth. Now there is a monument. It's just outside of Atlanta. It's called the Georgia Guidestones. Now, if you go there, they're huge, monolithic stones. They've got all these guides and titles etched in there, guides for the New World Order. You know, maintain humanity's population just under 500 million. And that sounds pretty ridiculous because we've got over 7 billion people on the planet now. So if they want to reach that goal, they've got to wipe out about 90% of us. So that's an incredible goal, and it's an evil, sinister goal. But they've had that goal since. I mean, they have all these organizations, you know, the Club of Rome, and it's all population agendas, guidelines, how many people there should be left, and they do this. They push this agenda. They say, oh yeah, we need to preserve the earth. It's all about environmental friendliness. There's too many people, too much strain on the earth's resources. So an ideal utopian world would mean, 500 million people, and it wouldn't be so hard on all the natural resources, the water, the air, the trees, and consumption of resources, consumption of, energy would go down with less people, less pollution, less crime. So they tout it on the basis of, it's good for humanity to have, less people. So now it's really going to get interesting. It's really going to get dicey now, because what they want to do is collapse the economy. And I just told you how they can do that. Wall Street can wipe out the stock market in one day. They can crash it, manipulate it. So they want to crash the economy. Just literally crash it so that everybody's wiped out. You'll have your 401ks gone, your bank accounts are gone. You might have worked 20, 30 years for your 401k. All of a sudden, it's wiped out. Your pension funds are wiped out. So along with the economic collapse comes a social collapse. I mean, you have the currency collapse, the dollar being absolutely worthless. Like, Weimar, Germany, when it took 1 trillion marks to buy a loaf of bread or something. I mean, these people back then, they burned the mark in their fireplace in the winter to keep warm, because the mark was worth absolutely nothing. Our dollar is going to end up the same way. They're going to hyperinflate our dollar to infinity so that it's worth nothing, zero. I mean, so if they do that, people will, there'll be riots, and they'll get so mad, and that's when they can start, rounding up people to send them to the human settlement camps. And, these human settlement camps, the end result of that is just like Hitler's Auschwitz. I mean, it'll be an execution camp, where they literally execute people, whole families, women, children. And that's going to further their population agenda. We need to be on our toes, folks, because the economy is going to really turn sour. It's really going to get ugly. Please subscribe to my channel on YouTube. And this is Ted, signing out until next week.